Hi everyone. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we can do a calculation for risk and return for a single asset. All right, so let's start. So before that, I will show you the formula that we are going to use for this calculation. So the first formula is for us to calculate expected rate of return. So this is a formula that we use for expected rate of return. Expected rate of return, E is expected, R is return. In some a reference, we can also use R bar. Okay, especially in the calculation of risk and return, we can use R bar. Is rate of return for that asset given this situation, probability of this situation happening, right? The probability of this return to happen is by how many percent? And you add up with the second possibility of return. Let's say, for example, if the economy is going to be a boom economy, the expected rate of return is going to be higher. The rate of return in that situation is going to be higher. But as we are unsure of the situation next year, right? So that's a possibility. Next year, the economy is going to be a boom, maybe moderate or even recession. So these are the probability. If let's say it's going to be a boom, right? The economy is going to increase. The probability of an increased economy may be 30%. And what will be the return of that asset if the economy is good? So this is the rate of return. Add with if the economy is moderate, what is the percentage? What is the probability of economy is going to be moderate? And what is the rate of return if the economy is moderate? And so on and so forth. So all we have to do is add up all this. We can also call it a weighted average. All right. So this is the normal calculation of expected rate of return. Now, when we calculated a return, return is always paired up with risk. All right. The higher the risk, the higher the return. The lower the risk, the lower the return. So basically, that is the relationship between these two. That is why it brings us to the second calculation, which is the calculation of risk. And for us to calculate risk, there are two steps. The first one is for us to calculate variance, and the second one is using the using the calculation of variance. Okay, use it to calculate standard deviation. All right. So in this case, let me explain to you the first one, which is variance. All right. For us to calculate variance, we have to use R bar, or expected rate of return. Okay. So in order for us to calculate variance, we definitely have to calculate expected rate of return. We definitely need all this information as well. Okay. So if you look at this formula, it seems short, but you have to know that it is also a very long formula, but it is a repeated formula. This formula can be repeated as much as how many probabilities there are. All right. In this case, there are three probabilities. The first probability, the second probability, and the third probability. Or maybe there are n probabilities. Depends on how many probabilities are there. So that is how many times you have to do this formula. Again, the operation will be addition between one probability to the second probability. All right, so if you're looking at this formula, this is the rate of return. If you're looking at this is 3, right? It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, or it can be n. All right. So rate of return here is referring to this one, and this one, and this one. So rate of return of this minus with expected rate of return, which is the one we have calculated. Okay, this one. So this we have to minus with this to get variance. Now sometimes the figure is going to be a negative figure and so on. Right, so the next step is after we minus this figure, we have to power of 2. This power of 2 can neutralize any negative figures. Alright, power of 2. And then multiply by the probability, which is go back to this one. All right. So let's say we are looking at this set of return one probability. So rate of return R1 minus ER power of 2 times with probability. And then add with rate of return 2 minus ER power of 2 times with probability. Alright, and we have to repeat that set a few times as long as there are as many as there are probabilities. That is the calculation of variance, right? Now the total of variance, okay, we will square root to get standard deviation. Okay, so that is the second one, which is standard deviation. And once we got the standard deviation, we can change it into percentage, which is multiply by 100, and we can get a percentage of standard deviation. So putting both of these, okay, both of variance and standard deviation in one formula, we will get this formula. All right, so this is a symbol of standard deviation. So this is variance for the first probability, plus variance of the second probability and variance of n probability, right? And we square root everything and we will get standard deviation. And the standard deviation is a measurement of risk, okay? One of a measurement of risk. There are two measurement of risk. One is standard deviation, another one we can also use beta, but beta we usually use for market risk. Alright, so that one we will discuss in a different video. Okay, now let's have a look at one of the questions that I already have prepared in this slide. Alright, so this video I put in this very simple question. Alright, so if you look at this question, I hope you can see the question. Here we have this company, BG Courtney Enterprise, is evaluating securities. A securities. Right, A securities. 1 year treasury bill are currently paying 2.9%. That is treasury bill. Calculate the following investment expected return. So you have to calculate the expected return and standard deviation. Okay, so this is the risk. Now, why did they put treasury bill in the picture? Because you have to remember treasury bill is riskless. All right, riskless. So you can say that the SD is equal to 0. Alright, but the return, expected return, is stated here 2.9%. Alright, so this is for a riskless. Okay, now you have to calculate your security. So here is one asset, right? So we have a probability and we have a return. So in this question, it did not say the probability of what. It can be a probability of this negative 3% to happen, 15% probability of negative 3% is going to happen. That is basically the understanding between probability and return. What is the probability of 2? We are going to get a return of 2%. Oh, that's 30% probability. Right? What is the probability of getting 6% or 15% probability? Okay? Alright, so now let's start with the first one. So the first one, we are going to calculate the expected return. Sorry for that. Alright, I put it as R bar. Okay, R bar. So again, if you remember the formula, it is a summation. I will put a summation. Oh, sorry again. Thing is keep coming out. Summation of R multiplied by probability. Why I put summation? Because there are 4 probabilities and return. So we have to calculate each one of it. So R minus P, this is R, this is P. Alright, so basically you just have to multiply this, and whatever result that you get out of this, you just have to sum it up. So that is basically how you calculate expected return for this question. So if we put it in writing, is 0.15 multiplied by negative 3%. Okay, some of the students, what they did is that they did not change one of it into decimal. So you're going to get super big figures, right? So add with, which is inaccurate. So you have to change at least one of it into a decimal. All right, 2% plus with, I put it down here, is 0.4 times with 4% and plus with 0.15 multiplied by 6%. All right, so you can simply calculate. I can use my calculator here. I wish I can show you. So negative 3 multiplied by 0.15, you're going to get negative 0.45 plus with 2 times 0.3, you're going to get 0.6 plus with 0.4 multiplied by 4 is 1.6 plus with, you have to remember all these are percentage, right? So eventually you are going to get a percentage answer, right? So this is 0.9. Okay, then you then you add them all up. So 0.45, so that is a negative, plus with 0.6 plus with 1.6 plus with 0.9, you are going to get 2.65%. So that is your expected rate of return. Okay, why is it that I'm not writing percentage here? Yes, I can write, but I just want to do it fast. So by right, you should, because this is 15% out of 3%, negative 3%. This is 30% out of 2%. So this is this 0.6 is a fraction from this 2%. So of course it is a percentage. All right. Now the second step, okay, the second step is we want to calculate standard deviation. So how do we calculate standard deviation? There are two steps. The first step is for us to calculate variance, right? And the second one is square root variance to calculate standard deviation. Okay, now let's do the first step. This is already one, so let me take this one out so that you don't get yourself confused with there's so many indicators. So let's do one, which is variance. Okay, now if you remember the formula that I showed you previously, the formula for variance is actually, all right, R minus R bar, R bar, power of 2 multiplied by probability. So this one has to be a sum, okay, summation of, I forgot to put the summation in front. So now we have 4 probabilities. So we can have 4 sets of this, okay. So let's start with the first one, which is R here is negative 3, or you can put 0.03, okay, minus with 0.26, sorry, 0.0265. Let me make a correction here. Okay, this one also, many of my students make a mistake in converting from percentage into decimal. All right, 0.0265. Okay, power of 2 multiplied by 0.15. So that is the first set. Next is, I put a bracket here, is the second one will be, what is that? Which is, the second one is 0.02 minus with 0.0265 power of 2 and then multiply by 0.3. So that is the second set. Plus with, we go to the second set, which is 0.04 minus 0.0265 power of 2 multiplied by 0.4. And the final set is 0.06 minus 0.0265 power of 2 multiplied by 0.15. So So that is the 4 sets. Now we can calculate. Alright, so in order, okay, so basically that will give us approximately, you try and calculate, I will put here 0.048 plus with, you can try it all on your own, 0.0013% plus the next one is 0.0073 plus with 0.0168. Alright, so you total this up, you will get 0.0734. So that is the variant. Now the second step that you have to do is, the second step I put it here, you square root 0.0734 and you will get 0.27. Alright, now this is the risk, which is 0.27, okay, which is the standard deviation, and the return is 2.65. Now you can compare with the treasury bill. The treasury bill standard deviation is 0. Standard deviation of this one is 0.27, which is slightly higher. And if you are comparing the return of a treasury bill, which is 2.9, with the return of this asset, which is 2.65, now you can make a decision. You can make a comparison. Let me put it in the next slide. Hold on, so that we can compare. So based on our calculation just now, we can conclude, if you want to make a comparison, we have a treasury bill, and this one, let's call it asset A, right? And then we have the return as well as the standard deviation, which is the risk. All right. Now for treasury bill, the return is 2.9% with 0 standard deviation, while asset A, the return is 2.65% with a standard deviation of 0.27. Now you can make a comparison now whether A is worth investing or not compared to treasury bill. Treasury bill without any risk is giving you back 2.9%. And for asset A, if you invest in asset A, the risk is 0.27. Basically, it's not that very far, but it is still higher compared to treasury bill. And in fact, the return that it promised is only 2.65, which is lower. So you are taking unnecessary risk for a lower return rather than better. The better decision will be go for treasury bill, which is you don't have to take any risk and you can be confirmed to get 2.9%, which is higher compared to A. So basically, that's how you can actually use risk, the calculation of risk and calculation of return to make a decision when we are comparing which one is better and which one is not. Okay, so that is the calculation that we can do. And the most importantly, maybe in some question you can come across with not only one asset, you may have to calculate a few assets at the same time so that you can compare what is the risk and what is the return, so that you can actually make a decision which is worth investing for. So that is all for this video. Hope you understand how we can calculate risk and return. See you in next video. Bye.